We're live. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. I'm Johnny. And
I'm also Johnny.
And I'm Sterling and Stone.
I'm the new and improved Johnny.
We're going to see how this works out.
It didn't work.
I gave Dave my link because he couldn't get in, and I didn't realize it would log him in as Johnny. So we're going to see if you guys can tell which one of us is which.
It's going to be tough.
You know what I'm curious about is, we've been using Zoom for everything now. We did Apprentice in Zoom. We have like two different Zoom rooms for Apprentice. And we SPP and Worst Show Ever, and then there's our private.
We have 39 Zoom rooms.
Right, trying to keep track of all this is nuts. And so what I've noticed is that the one we were in earlier, we did a Zoom earlier today with Seth, and then one with Amy and Christine, and it's closer on me. Like this is, see how you can see my full painting? Like that isn't usually. Oh yeah. But that isn't the way it is in the private rooms. It's like and it's my same camera. It's not like it's a different camera.
Yeah, that's weird. What up?
What up?
What up, bitches? Oh my God, how many times have you stood in front of the camera in the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, and this doesn't even count the porn shoots.
Stop it, you're getting Dave all hot.
Are those solo shoots you're doing?
Actually,
yes.
No, Dave's all hot for this. Wait, hold on, I'll tell you why Dave's hot. Because he just read this log line. After being attacked by a distressed mother of an obsessed fan, a girl band must escape their dressing room without being killed.
So much for not shitting on other authors.
I didn't say where it was from.
Somebody out there is recognizing their log line right now.
And crying.
Probably Stephen King. It's like that motherfucker.
Oh, wait, I want to hear Dave's rant about the short story book.
Huh?
Don't you have a rant prepared about the short story book with the terrible cover? No?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Oh.
You rant about so many things, they just fall off your radar that quickly.
If I hold them all in, I'll explode.
Oh, it's like inverse diarrhea.
Yeah, there's a new short. It's short stories. I guess edited or chosen by Stephen King. It's in the Amazon store, and it was ranked 230 something the other day, and it's not Stephen King. It's authors that like entered some contest or something, and they chose a winner, and he writes the intro, I'm guessing, and it's ranked 230, but the cover looks like absolute shit. It looks like somebody didn't go to
99designs.com/SPP.
And I'm shocked because the cover looks like shit. It's a pre-order, and it's ranked 230 something. And short stories generally do not sell on Amazon, and these aren't even his short stories. So basically, his name just being on a shitty cover just sells the book.
I feel like you're phoning in the anger right now. I felt it much more genuinely earlier.
I am a little tired. I just finished playing baseball with my son, so I'm wiped out. I actually ran. Fucking A.
You ran
all the
baseball?
I ran to catch him, and I like threw my shoulder out trying to catch him.
Oh, wow.
Falling apart. Yeah.
So I guess you can ask us anything. We haven't done one of these. We haven't done one of these yet with Zoom.
Do we have to do a show tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's my question. I'm asking anything.
But just one of each. We don't have to do the double up thing again, which is nice.
Yeah, we got our one for vacation already.
Although aren't you going on 2 vacations? Because there was a Friday where you're going to be at Camp Good Life or something like later.
Yeah, that's not really a vacation though. That's working.
Welcome to the Ask Us Anything, where we'll just hold a meeting and you get to watch.
All right. Well,
there's a special Q&A. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I don't see. I mean, I see the questions that were emailed in, but I don't see any.
I think we're out of questions. We've talked about everything.
We have talked about everything. So
we're done. It's over. We don't do any more of these.
Does that mean we can stop?
Yes. Bye.
There's a Q&A.
Like happy because it just turned into worst show ever.
There's an actual Q&A link, which you want to use instead of chat. We're not probably going to pull questions from chat. So put them in the Q&A. Tammy Lebrecht, does Johnny have his White Russian? I do. I haven't had it in a while, but I just got a hankering, so I made myself one. So
I don't. I have water because I've eaten like a piece of shit for like a month.
You've eaten a piece of shit?
And
Literally.
I have a question, and that is, when is
Where do you
Sean's
book cover?
office going to stop sounding like ass?
Okay.
I officially got a text from my mother who said you need to up your audio game. I'm not even kidding. I could show you. Because she's back to Kickstarter, so she got that one today, and she's like, "Wow, Sean's audio is terrible."
If you need some clutter to fill your room, I have a lot.
It is terrible. I'm getting a rug tomorrow, but I don't know, dude.
You're getting a rug tomorrow?
Yes, that's all I have from Audra so far. Get a rug, right? She's moving.
You don't even have a receding hairline.
She'll get on it, but for right now, I got a rug. I don't know. I'll handle it. I know it sucks. It's terrible. Yeah. So
Mark Ochin says, "What the fuck's up with the website? You said Wednesday, you cocksuckers."
Well,
not quite.
We're having technical difficulties.
Yeah. Okay. And I would also say that there absolutely zero we have nothing to do with it now. We're waiting on our current.
To be fair, we never had anything to do with it.
Yeah, that's right. We're waiting on our current website provider to help us finish the migration that started.
You want a name for that provider?
No, we're not going to do that. But the migration started like a few days ago, and Seth is just waiting.
Like everything's ready. I mean, it's.
Yeah, but every time there's something, it's a new support ticket, which takes at least a day to get an answer to.
That's some crackerjack support. That sounds like some top-notch support, really.
It's so obnoxious. I mean, we've been migrating officially for like 3 days, and in our hearts.
That's supposed to be like one of the best web hosts, isn't it? Like that's supposed to be like top tier, next level shit, right?
Okay,
it's supposed to be really good.
All right, we're good here, Dave. We're good.
I'm just checking.
Is this payback for Aussie's Sorry? Is that what
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Chet Manley wants to know why Johnny hates superheroes.
I love that that's a thing. I'm not into superheroes.
Jealous because they have the chiseled abs and he doesn't.
Hate superheroes. Yes. No, it's just nothing I ever got into. So Sean was pitching a superhero concept.
So you're not a true geek
for our stuff. No, I don't know. Like as Sean said, I like the emo Christopher Nolan Batman. Like that's
so it's funny.
More emo than anyone.
This is actually this is actually for our sci-fi apprentice project, and I was super excited about it. I had what I thought was a really awesome idea, and I was positive that Johnny was going to love it. And
maybe I'll take your leftovers.
No, I think you would dig it. I'll tell you off the air.
All right.
It was a pretty sweet idea. All the other tracks, I was like, I hope these work out. I was positive on this one. And
do you remember the last time Sean was positive?
Yeah, right. This was Fiction in a Box day 3. So
that's okay. I ran into a stumbling block for our story when I talked to a detective I know. So we're gonna have to think.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. It's a big one. A big one. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, huge.
Now I'm dying to know. Stupid Ask Us Anything.
Basically, the agent would never be assigned to the case that directly involved her.
Oh. Well, that seems like something we can absolutely
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Let's have a story meeting in addition to that.
She's rogue.
Stephanie asks, I'm debating a title for my book. How do you guys come up with titles?
Oh, that's good timing. We're talking a lot of titles right now, actually.
Ouija board.
Yeah, titles are hard because
Sean did come up with Chupacabra Outlaw. Yeah, you're asking him for titles?
Yeah. The thing about titles is that you need to choose clarity over cleverness. You don't want to pick something that you think is really clever, but it won't speak to the market. We're talking about titles for all of our apprentice books right now, and we don't have any yet. Like we're all in this brainstorming.
You want to take keywords into account at all?
Yeah, for nonfiction, absolutely.
Yeah.
For nonfiction, I think keyword is kind of more important than anything else, unless you already have an audience. You know, like we have a nonfiction book that we're working on that isn't keyword driven at all, but that's okay because we kind of it's nonfiction. It's for you guys, so we have a direct conduit there. But if we were going to try to write the same book, it might be titled differently. Same with write, publish, repeat. Like we were able to, I mean, that has keywords in it too, though. The repeat doesn't, but the write and the publish for sure. But for nonfiction, I would definitely say, the keywords are important. Try to answer make sure that your title is a promise that, answers something to the reader. But for fiction, I think you want to speak to the experience that, a reader is hoping to find, right? So if it's a horror book, make sure it's a title that sounds, kind of scary. Words
how about scary house?
Scary house.
The scary house. There you go.
The scary house.
You're welcome.
The scary house.
Didn't Dean Koontz have one called The Bad Place?
Yes. I was disappointed because I thought it was going to refer to a doll.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
But by the way, that is Dean Koontz's best or second best book.
I read that.
Between Lightning and that, those are my two favorites. That was like his most original book by leaps and miles, like different from everything else he did. Like there was a period of time in the 90s where almost every one of his books it felt like a Mad Libs. Like they were all pretty much the same. They all had a dog. They all had similar storylines.
No wonder you added dogs. I knew it.
Yeah. Dean fucking Koontz.
All right. How would you recommend audiobooks be made? Well.
Not in Sean's room.
Not in my room.
We should call this a punch drunk. Ask Us Anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna seize control of this from these slap happy assholes over there. Well, if you can find a good partner, we partner with Podium on a lot of ours that they're producing our books for us and publishing them, and we receive a royalty. And we like them because they have reach that we don't, and they're kind of entrepreneurially minded like we are.
Quality. They can hit a level of quality that we cannot.
Right, and they've gotten us award nominations and stuff. But for anything else, we would just use ACX, and you can find your narrators on there. Look for people with good reviews and on the books that they produce that people like the narration. A lot of narrators have their own followings, like the guy who did. Well, I'll stick with Invasion because I don't know if the other guy's a secret. But Invasion was Ray Porter, and Ray Porter has his own audience, and people follow Ray Porter books. So, but they're very expensive if you pay for a narrator that has a name like that.
Yeah, and casting is an art. I think that's something we totally did not realize during our first round of audiobooks. It's and that's something Podium does extremely well. They've cast people that I never would have, but I don't know anything. Like I would have cast sucky people. And, we had a tendency to cast our friends, like we love Ray Chase. So he read a lot of our books, but he wasn't necessarily the right narrator.
Although he does work on Podium books.
Right.
It was for the project. Like we had him do the Dream Engine, which in retrospect, like Ray was fantastic as Mauricio and some of the other stuff, but to have him do a YA book with a female lead was maybe not the wisest choice.
Yeah, that should have been like an English person. It should have been English. Probably a woman. The person who reads Etiquette and Espionage would have been awesome.
Oh, I haven't actually heard that. I did read the book, but
yeah, I listened to it as an audiobook, and it's a great narrator. Would have been awesome for the Dream Engine. But that's something you know a little bit. So look at other books in the genre and see who's reading those. Look at those reviews. A lot of people will say, I love this narrator, or I didn't like this narrator. And I think that's kind of key to getting that done well.
Doesn't Ron Jeremy do audiobooks?
I have no idea who that is.
All right. Kate Morgan says, super serious question. I love all Kate's spelling in this. Super serious question. Do we have dates for the next Smarter Artist Summit? I need to know when to take off from the evil day job. We don't, but we will soon. I know Amy wants to get going on that and finding a venue, but very soon. Yeah, we want to do that sooner rather than later, but it's not done yet.
What lessons did you learn running the boot camp from, Philip? That our tribe is awesome.
Right.
I mean, it went super smooth, but that wasn't our doing. That was mostly Christine taking care of that. So I don't know. I mean, because usually lessons learned is like, we should have done it this way or whatever. But I actually, I don't have any complaints. I don't have any adjustments. I feel like it went better than any of us expected in just about every way. So kudos. But our tribe made it possible. So that's you guys.
Yeah, I would just add to that and say that we should always, always, always have faith in our audience, because you people rock. Like, you're just the best. And even like anytime we do something that's, big or stretching ourselves in any way, we always get a couple of naysayers. That just kind of goes with the territory. And the fact
They're just doing research, due diligence, just making sure by looking through our window.
Right.
That fucking guy.
So we had a couple thousand people, and to have a couple thousand people there and only, a couple of loudmouths is pretty awesome. But our loudmouths got like smacked down like by our tribe in like really polite, articulate ways. That was just wonderful. And
you, sir, are an asshole.
Kinda. And it makes me really like, I'm really proud of what we do. And ever since the summit, like I was excited about the boot camp, and the boot camp it exceeded our expectations, and there was a lot of appreciation there, and it makes me want to do more stuff like that. So I don't know that was learning something so much as reaffirming. And it is nice also to talk out loud about this stuff that we only talk about internally, because when we broadcast in a really focused way like that, it sharpens, our own tools. And as we're developing a lot of projects in tandem right now, and I think that those lessons are really fresh in our mind, and I think it's sharpening our own internal decisions.
Celine says, what is your advice for a writer about to start genre hopping? Don't.
Right.
Not really, but
yeah, here's a boot camp thing, right? Take a shot. Know your why. If you're doing it because you expect that,
also, hi, Jess.
If you think you're going to be known as a storyteller super fast or anything like that, just be patient. Like, know that you're gonna make less money. It's gonna take you longer. You're gonna have more to manage. You are gonna bite off more than you can chew, and probably open too many boxes. But if you're cool with all that stuff,
get some more metaphors in there.
Yeah, it's if you're cool with all that stuff, it's a lot of fun. I mean, we wouldn't have done it any other way, but it was really fun for the first few years. But now we are being much more strategic in exactly what boxes we open, because we did genre hop too much, and now we have a little bit too many things to finish off.
Luke asks, hey guys, thanks for having this session. I'm just going to paste this here. Any strong thoughts on changing I feel like Dave should be here for this one. I wonder if I should wait. Let me do Kits and we'll come back, because I feel, here he is. So look how suave he is. So sexy, I'm getting all heated up. Yeah. So I figured you might want to weigh in on this one because it's POV style stuff. So I was going to wait to read it. So here we go. Any strong thoughts on changing POV between the installments of a series, e.g. first person in book 1, third person in book 2? I was planning on doing this in a series, mostly because I didn't properly plan the entire series out before writing the first book. But now I'm toying with the idea of officially starting the series with book 2 in third person and making book 1 first person, a kind of prelude/origin story for one of the main characters of the series instead. The more I think about this idea, the more I like it. I'm mostly just worried about it being more difficult to make sure readers can easily stumble onto the first book if it's not called book 1 of the series.
What's the genre?
Good question.
I know Sean was talking about, didn't you say the first Jack Reacher was first person and then the rest weren't?
Yeah, the first Jack Reacher, which I'm reading right now actually, is first person, and then they're all third person after that.
Yeah, I would stick with one myself.
Yeah, I think that's a little disorienting for the reader. You know who did that and I didn't like it at all was Time Bound.
No, that was tense, and that pissed me off. She did first person past tense for the first book.
Oh, but the POV was the same.
POV was the same. She did first person present tense.
Okay, but it's the same type
and I didn't,
of thing.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all. I was like, come on, you got to stick with it.
You do set a certain reader expectation. I think you can do it. I think you have to be careful. I think you have to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and make sure it's clear in the product description. I mean, for us, we get away with it all the time because we're always changing POV. So it's not really surprising.
Yeah, but that's different from it's different to go from one third person limited POV to another third person limited as opposed to first to third.
Yeah, I agree.
Stephen King did that in Christine, and I found it really disorienting.
Yeah, you are going to jar some readers, but if you're okay with that and you think you can tell a better story,
I would say if the first book didn't do phenomenally well, then I would change it up for the second. But I would be a little more likely to change it up if the genre calls for it. Like it does very well. And what was the other one? New adult. I don't remember.
What about new adult?
Young adult.
No, young adult. And what's that other one? Fuck, I can't remember the goddamn genre now.
Well, the way I would think about this is if it's like there's gonna be a cost, right? You are gonna annoy some readers. So if the benefit of a much stronger story in your mind is worth the cost of annoying a few readers, then pay it.
Just rewrite the first book in the same tense.
Well, the thing is, though, that people do have preference on this. I know that it took me a while to warm up to first person. I was like, I want my books in third person. And like, I didn't really want to read books that were in first person. And I know people that are the other way around, and they just have a tense they like, and so, or a POV. So you are going to risk that. So like Sean said, just make sure the payoff is worth it, I guess. Eldritch asks, what options do you prefer for your CreateSpace print copy and why, if there are reason for the choice beyond personal preference? Number one, which dimensions for your covers, 9x6, etc. We've actually created a print style guide, and so I don't know all the specs, and I'm not going to go through them all right now, but basically for books of up to a certain word count, we use a smaller size. I want to say it's like 5 by 8 1/4 or something like that. And then for most of our books, so the invasion books are 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. And it's just, I like that size is just, it's a real nice, it's a medium size, like in terms of it's not too big, it's not too small. The 6 by 9s, personally, I think look bad unless it's a really thick book and just has to be 6 by 9 because it's such a large book. Like the Unicorn Western Omnibus is 6 by 9 because it's 250,000 words. It's got to be big. Cream or white pages? Actually, I thought we were always using cream, and I know that people said the white got better, and I said keep using cream. But I was looking at my books the other day, and I think we might have some that were that better white, and I just haven't checked in on it, so I'm not sure on that. And we use matte over glossy.
Yeah, I've heard that the cream, I'm sorry, the white got much better. So
yeah, I think we may have, because I was like, yeah, whatever. But then I noticed that I'm like, oh, I think some of these are white that are sitting right over there in my bookshelf.
Yeah, because for a while the white looked really like printer page. Like they looked self-published. You get one of the white ones from CreateSpace and you could just, it looked so indie. And so cream was a way of kind of combating that. But if you have a really high quality white, that might be better. But I also think it's a preference.
Okay, Heather, don't ruin the end of Divergent. I haven't seen the last movie there. So I saw something mentioning death.
I was very so-so on those books.
I didn't read it. I saw the movie, though.
Yeah, I saw the movie. I saw the first movie. I wasn't...
Saw the first two.
See the second.
It was a little disposable in my mind. So.
Agreed.
Kit asks, are you shifting all of your podcasts over to Zoom? Actually, Kit's being very inclusive here. He's shifting all of our podcasts over to Zoom. Yes, all of us together in this podcast. I like that it's a community.
I do too.
And if so, what didn't you like about Hangouts on Air? I am doing a test run with Hangouts tomorrow. Now, how can I precisely state this? Hangouts blew ass. Like, I think that's the elegant way to say it. They were just always fucking with us. They were good 90% of the time and terrible.
Inconsistent. It was inconsistent. Like sometimes they took our comments away, and then we couldn't get on. It would just kick one of us out randomly. You know, if we have, like, we owe you guys more than that, you know, like if we can get a solid paid solution, we liked the idea of Blab, but it started with its shenanigans too. And so I love the idea of Blab because it had the live comments, but we also didn't have any, you know, either decompressing time or staging time.
Well, and Blab was being such an asshole at the end too.
Yeah, it was inconsistent. So this is just, this seems like it's a good solution.
We pay for it. We're like, we can, I guess we have to pay for stuff, and then we can know we can.
But I'm always fine paying for something.
Me too.
If it's a better solution and it's better for us and it's better for you guys, it's just better, period.
And Zoom has been great except for that one time.
Yeah. So we had Zoom last week for the very first week of The Apprentices, and Johnny and I had to record 3 different videos back to back to back, and they all failed, and Zoom had no record of us even using the Zoom room, and we had to do them 3 different times, and that sucked. But that's been the only problem.
So if you're good at math, that's 3 times 3. That was a good day.
It sucked. Like, it was so balls. So yeah, if it just depends on what you're doing. Like, Hangouts might be totally fine. Skype might be totally fine.
Hangouts is fine for a lot of people. I would say if you have a schedule that you're absolutely sticking to, like everybody meets you at Friday at 3 or something, you might not be able to count on it. And if you need live comments, you won't be able to count on that. You have to find another comment solution. One of the things, like Self-Publishing Roundtable, what they do is they have it on Hangouts, but on their webpage they have like live comments updating there, and they just read them from there.
Yeah, and honestly, between Blab and Hangouts, I thought Blab was pretty cool when we started it, but I would take Hangouts.
Yeah, I agree.
Blab was great for a little while, and then it just started to piss me off. It was really.
It had a couple of weeks where it seemed like, yeah, this is going to be our solution. This is awesome, and no.
And Hangouts, okay, for us, most of our audience is on iTunes or on audio. For Hangouts, you have the benefit of people finding you and finding your video even while it's live or after the fact on YouTube, and there's a discoverability there. Because a lot of people like just check out Hangouts live and just to see what's on, and you might get found otherwise in a way you wouldn't.
People did that with Blab, but to me, Blab felt to me a little like the audience wasn't right.
Yeah, I felt like the anarchist audience at Blab. It really, like, a lot of times it's just like some weird people would show up.
Logan actually knows the details of this and deftly sidestepping the spoilers in this one. Says, when is the Smart Artist book on writing craft going to be released? I don't think we have a date for that, but we should, right?
We did. We have a date for it, but the problem is we're trying to launch it simultaneously in print and digital and audio. And we're waiting on, I think, a delivery date for audio, but it was going to come out soon. We wanted it to come out really soon. So Logan, hopefully within the next 2 months would be awesome, because that's a great book just ready to come out.
My favorite thing about Blab is if you go and just like randomly find somebody, like sometimes I would do that just to see what was on there. And like one time I just found this like angry looking white dude just sitting in the dark, just staring at the computer.
Was it a mirror?
It was probably a mirror. Didn't you say you like kept running across like the pedophile show or something? I thought you.
No. I read an article.
Notes from Mambla.
No. I read an article that said that pedophiles had used Blab. I said, well, that's a ringing endorsement. I don't know what
pedophiles have also used Sony televisions and stuff too. To be fair.
Logan says Dave's screen turned off and he was just staring at his reflection.
No, he was a skinny dude. Yeah. Looked like a meth addict.
Have you thought about trying meth?
I like my teeth too much.
Yeah, but really,
no, meth is the opposite of the drug I'd want to get. That gets you all wired and stuff. I don't want to be wired.
He wants to be mellow yellow.
I'm a heroin opiates. He likes
heroin all the way, man.
All right. So when you said you've gotten more, or Celine asks, when you said you've gotten more strategic about the genre hopping, what does that mean? So strategic about what you release when, like clustering a few same genre releases close together? Yeah. So like Invasion was very strategic, and we're finishing. Well, not tomorrow, but Monday it looks like.
Yeah, it was supposed to be tomorrow, but it'll be another few days, but we're finishing that now.
Yeah, that's the last book in that series, and that's 7 books. And we did that within like a 18-month period. And that was very intentional because that book is making money for us. And so it's paying for a lot of the other things that we want to do. But we also, in that same period of time, did a book called Devil May Care, which, you know, devil may care if we sell it. Like, it's not going to...
Hasn't been released yet, yeah.
Yeah, it's coming out in November, and we don't expect it to do really well, but we love that book.
When Dave gets rid of his video, it puts up my avatar.
Oh, that's awesome. And
hey, everyone, it's Johnny. Look at my abs, man. Oh, I love rubbing my hands.
I really got to get rid of that whole photo.
And at the end of this year, we're going to do another literary thing. So we're still genre hopping, absolutely. But we are being just more intentional. Like, okay, well, let's make sure that we carve out this block of time to do this style of book. And everything that we're doing, and this is not just, you know, Johnny and I, this is company wide. All of the apprentice projects are very intentional. Dave and I are getting all intentional together. Yeah.
I heard Johnny was intentional.
Yeah, Johnny's
intentionally intense.
So yeah, it's just a really good way of making sure that you're balancing your time, for us, our time, between the things that pay our bills and the things that make us really happy. And fortunately, the things that pay our bills make us really happy also. But there's degrees there. You know, I think that they don't push our art in the same way.
Cody Leet, I heard Barnes & Noble was allowing self-publishers to get books into their stores, provided you sell over 1,000 copies through Nook first. Is this a compelling reason not to use KDP Select? I'm all on board for compelling reasons not to use KDP Select. I don't know that that's one of them. I think that getting your book into a Barnes & Noble store may be more of a vanity move, and that's not a judgment at all. Like, I want to see my book in a Barnes & Noble, but I don't think it's a business reason.
I think it's a reason. I think there's a lot of little reasons like that stacked up, and that's certainly there. But yeah, like Johnny said, I don't know that it's a driving force for sure. But I hadn't heard that, and I do think that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how, because there's a lot of books that sell 1,000 copies or more. I wonder what the limiter is on that. Like,
well, yeah. Also,
Well,
and also, what do they mean by 1,000? Is it 1,000 at 99 cents, or is it 1,000 at $5.99? Because those are big.
Big Bad Enemy Alert. Tammy says, check out David Gogren's blog. BNN's print arm is affiliated with Author Solutions, which I know David has repeatedly clashed swords with.
Oh yeah, Dave. Author Solutions makes them all withered.
Right, he's not a fan. Marks asks Dave, what do you thought of Mr. Robot? No spoilers, because I want to watch this one.
I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to tell you how he died. Oh.
No, it was awesome. There a dog in the show?
Did you watch the first season or no?
Me? I haven't seen any of it.
Okay. Second season just started, and absolutely fucking love that show. It's so good. It's the sort of thing I want to be doing on TV. And I love the music. I just saw the soundtracks are on Amazon. They're not on Apple, actually, so they're on Amazon, and I like the music. It's very like techno, like really cool and moody and dark, kind of stuff I can write to.
You know, another thing that's coming on Amazon Prime soon is videos of Dave from the bed and breakfast from the hidden cameras. They got a whole special.
I'd watch that shit all day long.
Do you remember all the blood?
Yeah, all the blood.
Kristen asks, hey guys, I have a businessy question. When you began to create imprints within your LLC for different genres, is there legality to this in terms of registered fictitious names, or is it more internal? Also, if I have a book published under the main umbrella of our LLC name already, when we break out in a different genre imprint, should I republish under that new imprint? This is the part where I say that we're not lawyers. We don't do that.
They're designations for us. Sterling and Stone is the company. That's our publishing company. The imprints are just a way to brand them and organize them within the company. Like, oh, okay, that's a Collective Inkwell project, and we all know, what that means. What's up, Chuckles?
I thought you were going to follow that with a joke.
Oh, no. No, I should have. There's a good one waiting there. Yeah, so we all know what that means, but we don't have separate LLCs for each imprint because that would get kind of unwieldy and it's just unnecessary.
Right, it is unnecessary. So with the same caveat, the idea of an LLC is to provide protection for some assets because you're putting it under business name. So in other words, if the LLC gets sued, then your assets personally aren't, at risk as long as you haven't broken several rules. So if you have multiple LLCs and it's all basically the same members or anything like that, there's kind of no point because it's like, I put armor on my armor.
Right. But it's even worse than that because it's not that there's armor on your armor. It's that like now you have more to deal with. I guess it is armor on your armor because now if you want to go to the bathroom, you have to take 3 sets off, right? Like you're not getting any added benefit, but I think it is a subtraction. I think it's
my wedding night
complicated for you. Previously, you said short stories don't sell well on Amazon. Is there a platform where they do sell well? I think short stories are just a hard sell. I think, people generally.
The platform is the name Stephen King.
Right. Stephen King does well with his short stories, but even they pale in comparison to his regular novels. He does them because he loves doing them and they're fun for him. He talks a little bit about that in his latest one. What's the name of it, Dave?
I don't remember.
He had a book of short stories last year or maybe early this year.
Bad Dreams or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Bad Dreams. Bad House. The Bad Place.
Bizarre Bad Dreams or some shit.
Yeah. I think it had the word bizarre in it. Yeah, I liked it a lot, and I think you writers would like it more because he has a little, like a little, almost like a author's note for each story about why he wrote it, and that's fun to read, but he talks about short stories are never going to be as profitable, but he does them because they're fun. That's why Pixar does them. They're never as profitable, but they're fun. And if a guy like Stephen King isn't going to make as much money on shorts, we're going to have a really, really hard time.
Cody asks, assuming you have your own ISBN numbers, are there any issues in using multiple printers simultaneously, such as CreateSpace and Ingram Spark? I don't remember the details on this. Do either of you?
No, I never set it up.
I know that you can do, and I've seen people do this. The one I remember was Kamal Ravikant did mention doing this like 2 years ago on SPP. And I don't see the ISBN is where I get hung up. I don't know if you needed 2 separate ISBNs or just one, but if he would put his paperback available through CreateSpace, and that was meant for people who wanted to buy on Amazon, it would be like instantly available, the paperback, because that's, Amazon owns that company. And then he would also put a paperback, again, same format, through Ingram Spark, and he would use those if he sent anybody directly or if he ordered his own, was more important because he felt the quality was better. Because if you just put them on Ingram Spark and they're hooked up to an Amazon version, Amazon kind of fucks with you a little bit, and it'll say like available in 2 days or something. They won't be instantly available. So that's why he had the CreateSpace version too. But I don't know the details on the ISBNs. I don't know that there would be a problem with any of those. So, and you obviously need a different ISBN for a hardback.
Yeah, I agreed with all that. Nothing to add.
Cody Lee, what are your thoughts about putting a price on the barcode of the book? I heard Amazon and others like to use 9,000 for no price listed. We certainly never do. Well, no, maybe we do. It might be something that's automatically generated. I don't know.
We don't do it intentionally.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So I have some on the list. This is from Derek. I have a question about emailing my list. I started the list perhaps 18 months ago, and it's been building over that time. The only thing I've ever sent them is the welcome email. I now have a new book coming out. I want to contact them about it, but I have no idea the best way to go about that. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, you better warm them up first.
Yeah, that's
give them something.
Absolutely.
Worse than me.
Right. See, I was staying away from that. That's the worst thing you can do. You need to keep your reader warm. Like they're going to forget about you. If you sent them an email right now and
hey, fucker, buy my book.
Yeah, is a welcome email in 18 months. It's not even like I know this sounds cold, but almost everybody on your list, they don't know who you are. Like 18 months is a long time. You signed up on an author's list and you haven't heard from them since. They have forgotten you. Your book was not.
Maybe they're on JD Salinger's list.
Right.
He's got a vibrant list.
So you have to if you're not releasing frequently, and this is somebody who reads a lot of books, they're probably on a lot of authors' lists, and they're going to click unsubscribe, or they're going to
spam,
and that's going to really damage the quality of your list. You have to the next time you communicate with them, send them a few emails and warm them up. And them, oh, I just read this book and I think you'll like it. I just saw this movie trailer and it really has me excited to write something new. Something like that that's not about buy my book.
And find subtle ways to remind them who you are too.
Yeah.
Like don't come out and say, hey, here's who I am, but you can find subtle ways. Hey, it's, I hope you're enjoying my book, whatever. Don't forget about me. Maybe you could send them a link to that Simple Minds song, do you think? Like as a gift.
Don't you forget.
I do think that would work.
Yeah.
Anonymous. When working with a collaborator, I see why this is anonymous too. When working with a collaborator, how can we brainstorm and move forward in spite of distractions and disagreements? Yeah.
Okay, Dave.
Anonymous.
I don't have disagreements. I'm always right.
Yeah. We're I know this is a little Pollyanna, but we don't really have disagreements. I mean, we just don't internally. Like that's hard to answer. I think that you may want to take ownership of it. Like this is hard to answer because I don't know the situation here at all. But for me, I usually think, is this something that's really important to me? Is this worth going back and forth on? And probably not. There are very few things that I feel that strongly about. You know what
it is? It's that we don't not disagree. It's not the case that we don't disagree. It's the case that we all know when to put our foot down and when to back off. So for instance, usually I make the joke, it isn't true obviously, but I make the joke that Sean has no spine and will just do whatever, the other person wants. But there have been many cases, and these usually aren't story decisions. Usually they're like business decisions where Sean has a strong opinion. And it's just like, we know each other well enough at this point to know, okay, well, I'm going to go with him on that. That's the other thing too. It's not just about knowing when to state an opinion strongly and when to give. It's also trusting each other. So usually if Sean has a strong, yeah, I mean, if Sean has a strong opinion, it's not the case that I'm like, oh, he's got a strong opinion, I'm going to defer. It's the case that, well, I trust Sean. So, okay, if he has a strong opinion, there's a reason for it.
Right, because I don't think anyone in the company has strong opinions just because, and when we do, it's almost universal. Well, Dave's not like this. Dave has strong opinions just because.
No, mine are all well-founded. Fuck you.
and he doesn't. Dave.
Don't eat greens. You're going to get E. coli.
Oh my God. So
it's true based on reality. Thank you.
Actually,
hold on. I can't hear you because my Fitbit's giving me too much cancer.
Laugh about it. All right. Okay. I don't want to be right and wish you cancer, but if you get it, I'm going to say.
So all of you in the Dave Fitbit challenges, forget that shit. He's not walking that far in a suit of lead.
Fuck you. My in the comment section, I'm showing up as Johnny, so I'm going to start saying horrible things. I'm going to say like Hitler was pretty awesome dude, all things considered.
And Hitler, take a drink. Yeah, there was something I was going to say about.
Yeah, I think when one of us does feel strongly about it, we almost like this is a normal thing we would say. Well, I think this way, but I'm willing to be wrong about it. Or and again, Dave's not included in this.
Well, it's for a reason too. So we actually just gave the example earlier of when Sean had an idea for a superhero themed book that I wasn't totally down with because I'm just not a superhero fan usually.
Logan, you want some sloppy seconds?
And so Sean could have said, well, I really think we should do a superhero book. Like that's the sort of thing that collaborators might have a disagreement about. Like this one should really be But Sean's like, well, if you're not really into it, it's not going to create as good of a book. Like, that's just kind of dumb to force an idea down somebody's throat.
Right, because and to be clear, it's an awesome idea, right?
I'm sure it is.
And Johnny, actually,
I've been wanting to write a superhero book for a while, so you better be fucking giving good ideas to Johnny, that fucker.
all right, here, no,
How many books are in your queue to write?
Right.
There's a few though that I've been wanting to write for a long time. We just haven't been able to make time.
Actually,
Don will tell you, superheroes is on that list.
No, Dave. There's more to this too, and I need to tell you this whole story because it's awesome. But we can't right now. But the whole idea was it was a commercial idea, and Johnny recognized that. He's like, yeah, because we were talking about two possible ideas, and we had one that was definitely more commercial. But we backed off of that because the enthusiasm is important. And you and I have had that many times, right, Dave? Where we're deferring to your genuine enthusiasm on something because that's important. And that's what a collaborator is all about. A good collaboration isn't just about who has the best idea or anything like that. It's about how do you nurture what works in the relationship.
And also consider who's doing the heavy lifting on the story. If I'm writing the first rough draft of the story, and I'm like, if I'm the one that's basically finding most of the story, then Sean is going to cede to me on things because he knows that I'm the one in the ditch trying to dig the hole right now. And
absolutely true.
It's not going to be a great ditch if I'm like taking instructions from somebody else and they don't agree with my sense of storytelling.
Yeah, and I think that a collaboration, it is a marriage, it's a relationship, and you always want to be the one who's like, it's not 50-50, it's 100-100. You're always giving all of yourself. And I think if you're having a lot of disagreements, then it's probably not the best collaboration. Like, and I don't mean to shit on your collaboration, Anonymous or Dave.
I'm trying to find the theme from Titanic to play while you're giving this.
I just want to applaud myself for comparing writing to digging ditches. I mean, that's a stretch and a half. My dad would be kicking.
Yeah, all those ditch diggers are like, "Fuck you, asshole."
You were being metaphorical.
Yeah,
I understood it. So Cody asks, been struggling a lot with Scrivener's compile feature or lack of feature. Ooh, zing!
Oh,
to Scrivener on that.
That's Scrivener on your iOS release date.
Will Story Shop allow me to abandon Scrivener? Well, I wouldn't put things in those terms. We really do love Scrivener. Scrivener redefined the way that I looked at writing because I'd been writing in Word, and Word is just terrible. Like, what's going on with that?
Word is Satan.
It really is. And I mean, I actually think that Scrivener, its ability to compile is the strength. Like, it's what differentiates Scrivener. But that said, there are a lot of pieces to it, and it is easy to get confused by it and screw up, and then you go through and you check something yet again, and it's wrong. But to answer your question, in sort of an oblique way, I wouldn't say abandon Scrivener, but if you, when Story Shop Writer is done, Story Shop Writer being the new piece, the piece that will be for surprise writing, our intention is to use that as a whole product and end to end, like story creation, writing, compiling.
All in one.
Yeah, more directly, we had a 2-hour meeting today with Seth specifically about Story Shop Writer's compiling abilities.
But not for a while.
Yeah, not for a while.
So it'll take a little while. Logan with a sexually themed question here. How do you combat losing passion for a project when working with a collaborator? I find that whenever I'm working with my writing partner, whenever we come up with cool ideas to tell each other, we've already had the satisfaction of telling.
Oh, Dave should answer this question.
So when it comes to write it down, we lose passion and momentum. So it's basically after you've already had sex, you don't no longer really care for each other. Is how I read that.
Yeah. That is a thing that I suffer from, not the sex thing. Telling the story to somebody and then I don't want to write it. In a lot of times,
are you guys collaborating in there?
A lot of times, you hear the bed squeaking, and you're all alone. Anyway,
wow,
that's vigorous.
Did you guys, when you were growing up, did you hear your parents' bed squeaking?
No.
My parents had a waterbed, so.
No. My parents' bed squeaked at the exact same time every week.
Wow. We used to share a wall with Austin. That was fun. He stays up late. Now we're on opposite ends of the house.
I did hear my mom screaming, "Ride me!"
Wow.
Okay, ride me, cowboy. Anyway, where were we? Okay.
Passion.
Yeah. Okay, so once I tell the story, like I do lose some of the.
What? Jesus.
Stop it. I do lose some of it. So a lot of times what I'll do is like I will want to make the story better than whatever Sean and I brainstorm together, and I'll start changing shit up. And when it comes to Dark Crossing short stories, we each write in our own space and then send it to the other, trying to oppress one another without we don't brainstorm those. But I think if you have to get together and do the story and you can't change it up, then I would say try and just think of the readers more. Think of the people that are going to be reading it and use that as your inspiration.
Yeah, and I think that no matter how much you actually map out the story, there's always discovery in the process anyway. So just allow yourself to know that and to be excited about it, and to know that once you start writing, you're going to be saying a lot of things you didn't know and discovering new things. And ask yourself those questions. What would happen if? What would happen if? What would happen if? And then that's foreplay for next time you and your partner are together.
One suggestion, if you have a blog or if you do YouTube videos or anything like that, and you have an audience that you actually communicate with in some way, I would put little teasers out there, little things to get them excited, and then that will get you excited to deliver to them. Boy, this sounds like a lot of innuendo here. So, yeah.
I'm going to skip to Cody's question because I don't understand it. So maybe somebody, I don't get it. Like in Photoshop, can I use okay, this may be a joke question.
A joke.
Use Story Shop to apply a blur. Okay, so I'm gonna. Thanks, Cody. Sorry, I didn't even see the Story Shop Photoshop illusion. Okay, so Jen, as a new author with no readers, what are some tips for building an email list while staying anonymous with a pen name? Once you're in the guise of your pen name, you just act like anybody else. I would assume. I think that only impacts you negatively because it's a pen name and you're under anonymity essentially. From the beginning, if you already have a fan base that you lament that you can't use.
And setting up your mailing list, I think all mailing lists require an address. I would get a P.O. box to do that.
Oh, so, staying anonymous while building the mailing list.
Yeah.
Maybe a private domain registration, depending on how much you care.
DreamHost is, if you get your domain through them, I think the private domain registration is free. I know a lot of people charge for it, but they don't. You do have to select to have it privately registered, though.
Matt Ryan asks, when plotting a story, do you come up with a simple synopsis first, or do you beat it out right away? Looking to be a master beater. Thanks. That sounds like that's one for Sean.
Zing. I do it both ways, actually.
Wow.
Right and left hand.
Well, left hand's slower. It delays the pleasure.
Do you guys want to try and get a sponsorship on this too?
Yeah, I've done it both ways. I think more often than not, I have a simple idea and it just, I sprawl it out like style probably. But a lot of times it's the other way. I'd say more often than not, I start with a simple synopsis and go wide. But I don't think there's a right way to do it. And like today, I'm working on something and I'm going chapter by chapter, and I may thin it down for Johnny at the end, but I may not, just depending on how much time I have.
Damn it, Dave.
Does this show up as your name or me?
Yes, it's just Johnny. I like to use hobo hands. Thanks, Dave. Oh, good. I hope we post the transcript of this one.
All right, Brian. I'm close to uploading books 1 and 2 of a Zompack series, plus an introductory novel. In a previous AUA, the fellows determined KU was the best way for me to get started because I have no list at all. But here's the thing. I want to set the intro perma-free for readers who aren't KU members. But how could I do that when I'm exclusive to Amazon? I can't ask for a price match because no one else will have the book. Do you see my conundrum? Yes, I do, and I don't think there's much you can do about it. if you're being a part of the select ecosystem, you kind of just have to take that, and you could go wide and get that perma.
Wait, don't delete that yet.
Okay.
Why can't you have the intro? Why? Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's basically if they aren't in KU, how are you getting those people? Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You're kind of screwed.
But then, okay, so then you also set up a situation where, like, let's say your book is perma-free because it's on Barnes & Noble, and then somebody downloads it on Barnes & Noble and there's no follow-up, then you've got kind of a pissed off reader. They have to go to Amazon to get the follow-up. So just if you're on KU, stick with that ecosystem and then go wide when it makes sense to go wide.
From Anna, normally multiple books that are connected through a shared universe/setting and perhaps minor cameos, references by characters from one to the other can be considered a series, right? Yes. But, well, depending on genre, but yes, I would say yes. But what if those books are in different genres and use a different POV style, i.e. in some third and some...
I don't think that's a series anymore.
No, that's a universe.
That's a universe, but not a series, right?
But I think that you, in other words, your bookseller platform won't do that for you because it's not in a series, but you can, as the author on your mailing list, I guess, let people know about other books. But good luck, you got to get them to switch series as well. So
right. Uphill battle, but I think it can be done.
Yep. Okay, so Stephanie, have you seen any movies that inspired you lately?
I haven't watched that many movies lately. I've watched a lot of TV lately. I'm just starting The Magicians, and I've been watching a lot of Parenthood. And you know what I just started? What were you gonna say, Johnny?
Well, I was just gonna. I think I have. I was just gonna ask you if I told you that my stepsister's ex-boyfriend is in that.
Oh, yeah.
I think I have told you that a few times.
Yeah. So I really like that show, and we're watching it as a family, and it's really fun. I'm watching Magicians as research for something, and I just finished Orange is the New Black season 4, which I thought was fantastic, and they did something with a few of the characters that I just thought was just excellent, right up Dave's alley. Good storytelling. And I just started Shameless, which has been on Showtime. Yeah, for 4 seasons, I think.
Oh, isn't Emmy Rossum just naked all the time in that?
Yeah, she's always naked, and she's just getting nailed every which way. But it's really good. It's
I'll bet it is.
I'm really enjoying it. I'm maybe 7 or 8 episodes into season 1, and it's a little different than I expected it to be. But I like it. Like, the kids are all super scrappy, and it's fun to see how they survive, basically.
I saw a movie called Midnight Special. Definitely.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah. I don't even know that. I haven't even seen that.
Is that on a video already?
It's on pay-per-view, yeah.
Oh, shit. That was fast.
Yeah, I doubt it did phenomenally. It's got the guy from Boardwalk Empire in there. And the less you know about the movie, the better. It's Michael Shannon is his name. Yeah,
the Kal-El. Or no, Zod.
Yeah, I don't want to think of it as that.
I forgot. I had date night last night, and we saw Good Guys with Russell Crowe and what's the name?
Is that a comedy?
Gosling. Yeah, it's Shane Black.
Yeah, I don't do comedy.
Yeah, I got to get that. I got to get that babysitter action going on over here. We haven't had a date night.
Yeah, it's the Dollar Theater. And Johnny, just so you know, like, it's faster. You don't care, but I mean, you care, but no one else does. But it's faster on Mopac. Awesome.
I know we're out of order here, but I have to read Dave's. Dave, what do you think about Master of None being nominated for 4 Emmys, including Aziz Ansari getting a nod for Best Leading Actor?
Is he asking that question?
Logan.
It was Logan. Logan likes fucking with you.
Like I said, I like Aziz. I just don't.
I like Aziz. I just don't like him.
No, it just rubs me the wrong way, and I can't explain why. We're going to get in that whole conversation.
I think it's because he was born in India. Is that it?
No, it has fucking absolutely nothing to do with it. It's something about him. But like I said before, like, some of my strongest gut reactions to not liking people turned out to be my best friends. So I imagine he and I will be doing a buddy comedy together sometime real soon.
I would pay $100,000 to see that.
The best line in the worst show ever about Aziz is when Sean boils it down and says something like, so just just to get it clear, it's not about his work. It's about him personally. Dave goes, yes.
Okay, his voice.
I love his voice. Okay, so
Matt Ryan says maybe if he had hobo hands.
Okay, so another question here. I have 90,000
like a country music song.
I have 90,000 reads for the beta version on which I guess is a book. It's not capitalized on Wattpad. The problem is Wattpad is a free platform. Why would my followers and readers on Wattpad pay to read the edited version? No. Okay, so there's a few things here. Number one, there's 2 degrees of failure here, unfortunately. Number one is you can't. I mean, I'm not going to say for sure, but probably kind of. You can't expect to sell the same book off of Wattpad based on success on Wattpad. Like that. Why? That wouldn't happen probably. Not in any
Few
number.
people have, but it's very rare.
But it's rare. And a better strategy would be to try to get the Wattpad people to buy the sequels if you have those. However, you said 90,000. Fat Vampire has 710,000 reads on Wattpad, and it's amounted to dick. They're just kind of really not buyers by and large. We've found anyway. Wattpad is generally a free.
That's a really hard conversion. Really hard. For marketing, have you guys used Facebook Live? If so, what do you talk about? And how often do you go live trying to figure out this animal? I've heard great things about Facebook Live. We have not used it.
There you go.
I've also not used Pokemon Go.
Dave, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, if you want to end up dead.
Kit, and that's referring to my question about whether he has any thoughts, not Pokemon Go itself. Kit asks, I am taking a breather from starting the last book in a trilogy to write short stories and begin another series. Do you recommend overlapping series projects this way? Depends on genre, maybe, because I guess we're talking about transferability of readers, maybe, or just general workflow.
Yeah, I think whatever keeps your momentum is really important. Like if you need a breather and you need a break and you want to go left because you've been going right for a long time, then just do it. I think the danger
Kit clarifies general workflow.
Yeah, then absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I think it keeps your motor running.
Now that said, I think that we've, at least on the Realm and Sands side, said if we were going to do an invasion again, once we were far enough ahead, we would. This is the equivalent of Dave taking steps. You see that over there? I think that in an ideal world, if we were far enough ahead and we could kind of take our time, I think we'd love to just write the whole series in a row, write all 7. So, but we're nowhere near that. You would hate that?
Yeah, I need to break it up.
Or maybe 3 and 4 or something. Maybe it wasn't all 7. Yeah, we would want some sort of break just for mental. But it would be, for me, I would want a 1-book break. I wouldn't want a long one because then you have to remember. You have to go back.
I think batching is really, really important. For example, we have Dream Engine.
I'm dreading the beam. Like, holy shit. I have to go back and...
Yeah, it's a lot of catch up, right? I mean, fortunately, we had a few bombs in the closet there. So it should be a little easier than season 3 was. But Dream Engine is going to be 7 books. And we have the first 3 written. And we want to do 4, 5, another book, and then 6, 7. Because writing 4 through 7 all at once would be really hard. But it doesn't make sense to write them one at a time. That's just not efficient.
There's a comment in here about Pokemon. Chuck Manley says, had to pull my knucklehead nephew out of a total stranger's backyard because of that damn game. Kid climbed a privacy fence to get in. Yeah, I've heard stories about people like using Pokemon and setting up things to like rob people and shit. And it's only a matter of time before some kid is kidnapped playing Pokemon. It's the parents are not paying attention.
What I heard, and I have no proof of this or whatever, what I heard from some people who know such things said that they apparently changed that. They got on, they were like, oh, everybody getting abducted, not good. And so apparently again, I'm not...
Gotta catch them all!
That's what the pedophiles
all
say.
the kids in the neighborhood.
They, right, the pedophiles are walking around with pedophile go. Gotta catch them all.
I should totally make an app on that.
So, but anyway, what I heard was that they changed it to be like all public places, like not in people's yards, not in the middle of the street, that sort of. Cody, any suggestions on how to price a book? I was playing with pricing calculators today, and they all work based on number of pages, but it depends on the font size. What number of words would be a good way? And is there a value per word? And would it be different for print and ebook? I'd say it's different by genre.
Agreed. I mean, just look at your competition, and by competition is a friendly word there, but just look at other stuff in your genre, what it's selling for, and don't say, oh, well, that guy's getting, $7.99 for his book. But if it's not selling, then it doesn't matter what he's asking for. If you see the number one books are, $4.99, then that's probably a good price. So I don't think there's a value per word. For example, nonfiction, you can charge a lot more. For some nonfiction in the right genre.
12-page book for $4.99.
You could get, you see very short books and they're full price, and they just are, because they have information people need or want. So just look around and get your answers that way rather than value per word.
Right. Besides writing, what creative activities do you guys get up to?
I love watching stuff. And I know
it's not a creative activity.
Well, it is. You're
creating.
Oh, that's true. But I'm always thinking. I don't just veg out when I watch stuff. I'm always thinking.
Well, our business is a creative endeavor. I mean, that's the thing about Sterling and Stone is we're not just writers. We're also creating software, and we're creating education, and we're creating podcasts. Like, it's all work, but like, what do I do creatively outside of work? Well, kind of nothing right now, but
yeah, because
work is so creative.
Right.
Like, I want to do uncreative things when I'm off of work.
Yeah,
I need a break from all this creativity.
Even all the apprentice stuff that we've been doing lately, like it's very interactive. It's very like brainstormy, and you answer questions, and like it's very lively. Like I think we're always plugged in during work. So I think writing's a shade of it.
I am a cartoonist. I wish I could play music. That is one thing because I love music, and I like think of songs all the time in my head and music for songs. And if I had time to do that, I would learn something and maybe also create music. But the only thing I can really do other than writing is drawing. So
I've always wanted to be in a band, but I have no musical talent.
You can sing. I'm surprised.
I can sing? When did you listen to me singing?
Karaoke. You were good.
Oh, thank you.
Not that I thought.
Well, that's what I would do. That's what I would do. I wouldn't play an instrument since I can't play an instrument. But I always thought it'd be cool to be in a little.
I'll write the songs. I've written songs before. It's fun.
I would like to do piano, guitar, and drums. And drums specifically.
I want to do drums. When you move here, Dave, we can drum out.
Yeah,
that'd be fucking awesome.
We can have a little. We can have a music room in the Sterling and Stone house.
I also want to learn to play
no work
piano.
done.
Just always wanted to do that.
What was that?
Piano. I'd love to learn to play piano.
Yeah, I can play a little bit. Like I can like make up some stuff that sounds good, but I can't like read music or anything even close to resembling actual shit. But yeah.
All right, this is from Andrew. This is kind of an amazing one. I have series all written, 11 full-size books, 300 to 500 pages each. So the dude's just 11
banking.
full books. Like, that's very smart. Would it be stupid to release them 3 to 4 months apart on Amazon, Kobo, Apple, etc. if I've done all the work of quality cover design, editing, etc., or should it be spaced out? I think that is spaced out. I think
I think that's ideal.
Yeah, like three months on the outside. I mean, that gives you a few years there. So like if you did every month, you'd burn out in 1 year. So that might be too frequent. But I think you don't want to release them half a year apart. Like you have momentum, you'll capture more velocity if you have faster releases than that.
From
Logan
Matt.
plays drums.
Ooh, maybe Logan and I can
teach us. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to learn to play drums. I do. Question from Matt. I'm curious what the guys used to get an EPUB file through Smashwords, the EPUB checked into the premium catalog. I'm guessing they just paid to have the formatting done, but I'm too poor. After having no problems with several drafts of my book, Smashwords suddenly started finding reasons to tell me modifications are required. I went to Scrivener and they said, unfortunately, there's no direct way from Scrivener to Smashwords, blah, blah. Scrivener is for content creation, etc. I'm seeing Caliber and Sigil on Google searches. Does S&FS have any other recommendations? I have a foolproof way, a foolproof solution to getting the EPUB through, and that's to take it. You take it, what you do when you're ready to upload to Smashwords, you just smack yourself the fuck around and take it to Draft to Digital instead. Like, that's what you do. You just avoid Smashwords. Like, why was I going there? That's a terrible idea.
Exactly.
They won't give you any trouble over there. All right, Daniel, with the announcement of Story Shop Writer and the potential for other future Story Shop modules, what does this mean for the people who backed at lifetime levels during the Kickstarter? Do they get lifetime access to Story Shop Planner and have to pay for everything else? I realize this isn't pressing yet since the Writer module will be free, but I'm wondering what the current state of this is with other modules looming ahead. If you backed on Kickstarter, we were actually very particular about this because we knew that Story Shop would probably grow. You were backing lifetime for Story Shop Planner, which is the version that we originally outlined for story world development. Additional modules, Writer will be free, as mentioned. Other modules we'll have to decide as we go, but they aren't bundled in.
Yeah, and other modules, for example, will probably have a cost on our end, like the magic button module that we've talked about. That's pulling data from somewhere, and that will cost us every time it's used. So there's no way we can pay for users in that particular context. So yeah, Planner is a very specific thing, and that's the $10 a month part of Story Shop, and lifetime backers will get that forever.
Jessica, what kind of advice do you have for people like me who really suck at marketing, other than to get over it? I know marketing is super important, but I have the worst time to do it and tell people about my work and be like, buy my shit, despite me being proud of what I do. What are the ways would you suggest to get there?
I would start paying attention to marketing that really speaks to you, that you like, because you may be assuming, oh, I really hate marketing, I can't stand it. But there are things that you buy because of the marketing and because you bond with the creator, or it's something about it speaks to you in some way. And instead of just getting over it, which is so much easier said than done, find out, like, ask yourself, why am I resonating with the way these people are marketing? Why do I like this product? And then figure out what about that can work for you.
Have you guys tried showing books at fairs or flea markets? And if so, do you see any marketing value from these kinds of events? I can't imagine doing that. I know Donovan does well with, like, that isn't trade shows and, well, it isn't fairs or flea markets.
Well, I think trade shows are different.
Yeah.
I think flea markets, like, no, like, I think your conversion would be really low there. I think you want to go to like cons. Like if you write fantasy, you can go to a fantasy convention. If you write romance, you can go to romance convention. But that's hyper targeted with the type of. If your ideal reader isn't going to be at a place like this, then you shouldn't be there either.
The AVNs.
Yeah.
Adult Video News Awards, for those of you that are not familiar. Donovan said, farmers markets for life.
Any thoughts on Kindle Scout? Does the marketing potential offset the reduced royalty rate, 70 to 50%, and their ebook ownership for 5 years? I'm not a fan of Kindle Scout for me personally. I think if you're new and starting out, it's extra exposure and that might be worth it. But I'm not too into it personally. I wouldn't want to do it.
You wouldn't want to do it. I lost my page with the.
I got it. Okay. Is there a self-publishing company like Draft to Digital that has the option to split royalty payments between 2 or more contributors? I want to hire an artist to do artwork and I want to split royalties with them, but I don't want to be pressured with the task of allocating it myself.
Yeah, I answered that one via email. But
that's a great question, and I think that's a great business. That's what ACX does. ACX basically is the conduit between the narrator and the author, and there's no paperwork there. You click a couple buttons and that signs all the agreements, and ACX cuts the checks to both the narrator and the creator, and that's a fantastic thing. And I really could see something like that popping up for, you know, like LegalZoom specifically for authors in that way. But there isn't anything like that yet. And I think what makes it work for ACX is that it's so hyper specific just to audiobooks. It makes it a little easier. But yeah, I'd love to see something like that. So I think it would really help to facilitate more collaboration in the space.
Kat Vansel says, I sell my work at conventions, anime, comics, geek cons, and at art and wine festivals. Most loyal readers come from those events. I just checked out our portfolio. It looks pretty damn cool.
From Maxwell, I'm a huge fan of the Beam series 1 and 2 and Alien Invasion 1 through 3 via Audible. When can we expect the follow-up series to be Audible ready? Thanks. We get this a lot. Like I'm surprised how often we hear this. And the answer is it's not something we can control. That's in Podium's hands. I believe they have they might even be working on it. I think they have the Annihilation script, which is book 4. And it's not our timetable. So
what
I don't
book
know.
have they done up to?
3 has been
Colonization.
Wow. Fuck that, man. How far are they in Yesterday's Gone?
3.
3. They've done 3 of yours, and ours came out long before.
Yeah, but it's
they should have done 6 of Yesterday's Gone.
It's apples and oranges because Invasion has a single narrator.
Oh, okay.
Right, and if it makes you feel any better, the Beam is like, boy, that's hard to justify. Like it's just like we haven't got that either.
You can't get a straight answer.
And they did 1 and 2 together.
Right. And so like, I don't know when that's going to happen. And we asked them about Yesterday's Gone in Austin, same thing. It's like, well, it's a lot to coordinate, where Invasion is, you get a narrator in the room. And so it's just way more straightforward. So that's a big argument for single narrators, is that they're just so much easier to schedule. You get these Beam Yesterday's Gone productions are really sexy, but they're a lot harder to coordinate. And a lot more expensive for the producers.
From Danielle, I'm actually interested in thoughts on this. My character says, frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn, or you had me at hello, using movie lines. Boy, if only there was a book that did that sort of thing. Using movie lines as part of a cultural reference. Will I be sued? The book wouldn't be copying Gone with the Wind or Jerry Maguire in any other way, just someone using that phrase. Okay, so again, not lawyers, but my understanding is that would be fair use.
That's totally fair use, yeah.
You're not attempting to convince people that you wrote those books or movies. Although Sean said something, because we were talking about this, and he said something about song lyrics are a real big deal.
Song lyrics are different. Song lyrics are very copyrighted.
Also, I think quoting books, I think, is also the same area.
What do you mean quoting books?
I think you need copyright or permission for quoting like book passages as well.
But not like, frankly, Scarlett. Like that's fair use. It's such a.
I would think it is, yeah.
I mean, that's like zeitgeist, really.
Yeah.
It barely belongs to the copyright holders, although they may
say you are my father, right? Like no, I am your father.
Yeah, I saw 2 people getting together at an airport, and then Disney came over and sued them, or not Disney, Lucasfilm. Motherfucker, stop that.
From Sarah. A few months ago, you did an SPP with Michael Anderle talking about AI and chaos theory mapping and developing a tool that would pretty much tell you if your book was ready or suck donkey balls. At the time, you mentioned that it might become a story shop module. Do you have any updates on that, or a general idea of when you might start really working on it? Yeah, that's going to be really expensive, like really expensive. So Writer is what we're starting now. We had a great meeting on it today. We're going to pay for that out of pocket. But if we were to build that other module, the Anderle module right now, it would cost several times what the original $80,000 Kickstarter cost. And we just that's not reasonable right now. So Story Shop has to grow. So over time, that is something we absolutely want to build, but it's very cost prohibitive right now. We would love to do it, but it's not a simple thing. And it's very possible the technology is there, the data is there, but it's not an easy thing to build to where it's fluid for the user to use. We can't wait to build it, but already Writer's out of pocket for us, and we have to see how that goes.
From Chuck, I'm getting ready to launch a new space opera series. The book will be ready in about a month, and I have the cover set already. No real list to speak of. Any tips on my situation? Start a list. And that also seems like a KDP Select, unfortunately, situation to me. I hate that.
Yeah, that is Select. Wait, you got the second part of his...
Yeah, because we've already done that.
Oh, all right. Fair enough. From Andrew, I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but could you guys do a quick rapid fire recap of all the ebook distributors and whether you use an aggregator, Smashwords, Draft to Digital with them? Please specify what you're using or go direct. Okay, so Draft to Digital, well, there's a lot of them. There's like Scribd and Oyster and like
But I don't know that we ever get sales from them, but they hit them all.
If you go to Draft to Digital, you can basically see all the ones you can sign up for. So we'll just talk about the ones that go direct. Amazon, you go direct. Kobo, you can do through Draft to Digital, but Mark Lefebvre, who is very good to indies and can help you get placement and stuff like that, he doesn't get credit if you go through Draft to Digital. So Kobo is a place where you might want to go direct as well. But other than that, Draft to Digital is a godsend. You can use it.
Barnes & Noble, we go direct.
Yeah, but you can go Draft to Digital there, and you get merchandising through.
Yeah, the trick. So we used to go direct through all four, and then we would maybe use Draft to Digital to hit the rest of them. And the reason that we started using Draft to Digital, and by the way, we have an Apple rep, but we still use Draft to Digital usually for iBooks. Because, well, there's a few things. Number one, Dan Wood there oversees, like he knows all the reps and he goes to all the conventions and he knows everybody and he's a friend and he can get his placement in Barnes & Noble and various other places. And so it's kind of a loyalty thing that we do because we know he can get his placement in other places. It just seems cool to go ahead and, do through iBooks there too, because, they get a cut of that. And so we sort of let him play with our entire catalog with certain exceptions. But there have been times we've gone direct to iBooks, which is kind of a bitch. It's not a web-based console at all. It's hard to figure out, and it's hard to make changes. So what we currently do is we go direct to Amazon and Kobo, and we use Draft to Digital for everything else, including Nook and iBooks. Was there more to that, like in terms of? Yeah, okay, that's it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got that. Okay, so that's it for the list.
We have new questions.
Is Johnny still tired in Austin? I'm only tired here. I wasn't tired in Ohio. I have a lot of steps and hills now, so I get tired more.
There are a lot of steps and hills here.
Yeah, there really are. Our house has steps now, and our old house had steps, but it was to the basement. So I didn't go down there very often.
That's where Dave's go to.
Right. Now I'm always like over and over again going up and down and it's like we have tall ceilings too. So it's like 2 flights of steps over and over and over again. And my walk is all big hills. So there you go. Will you have Hemingway or Grammarly-like function in StoryShop? I'm not actually sure what that.
Yeah, eventually. That is something we actually talked about that today.
You did? What is that?
It's editing. So it's like it's cool. Like I used Hemingway for about 3 months and I'm like, it's like in Pages when it tells you you're doing things wrong when you know you're doing them right because.
Oh, I used to hate that in Word and it would underline it. It'd be like, you have bad grammar. It'd be like, no.
Yeah, right. So it's an app that does exactly that. And Hemingway also like lost a bunch of data for me. So I didn't trust it, but it's cool, and I don't think we would use it, but I think the market would really appreciate it, and I think it will eventually have that functionality. Yes.
Brian Meeks likes Hemingway. I think Hemingway must have touched him in a bad place because he's got a lot of Hemingway hate. Eldritch was mentioned having style guide for book cover and sizes. Is this something you would make public / include in a book or guide? We have no direct plans to. These things are kind of in flux, and we don't want to be prescriptive.
Yeah, they always change anyway. And besides, our guide is in Asana. Like it's not written down anywhere. It's like tasks, so it'd be kind of hard to.
Well, we could always move it over, but I'm really reluctant. A lot of anything that we say, a lot of times people just say that they're going to do it too, and that's not necessarily a good thing all the time, because we are us and you are you. So anyway, just find what works for you, you know? Okay, anonymous viewer, I've started with KDP Select as a way to get a bit more exposure and publish my first couple of books. By the way, I think this will be the last question, unless somebody has a real urgent one, because we're right at time and this is the last one on here. Okay, so KDP Select is a bit more exposure as I publish my first couple of books. When do you think is a good time to go wide?
I would suggest when you have new stuff coming out and you're seeing diminished returns on your Select stuff.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you know, you're going to take an Amazon hit depending on how successful you are being with Select. And there's no way to promise, well, hey, you're going to go wide and get a bunch of extra sales. That may not happen, just being honest. But that said, I think that long term, you know, I get real nervous. Amazon, just the things happen. Like there was this thing a little while ago where what was it that they were doing where somebody got like all their books removed. Do you remember this? I think you were talking about it, Dave. Like they thought that they were pulling some shenanigans, and then
go ahead, Dave.
Well, do you remember?
Well, it was a page reads thing, and Amazon just yanked their account, and there was no warning, and there's no recourse, and you can't really get somebody on the phone.
And they can never sell again.
Yeah, and that's where like her author account got banned.
And it wasn't a warning; it was just so you know you're out, like you're gone, removed your shit.
And that's kind of scary.
Commenters just saying they did reinstate her account, so I guess it was resolved. But
even so,
the moral of the story,
you never know.
Yeah,
you never know what's going to happen. And when all of your eggs are in that basket and you've done nothing to build fan bases, we had a thing. I hope Mark isn't listening, but we had to pull something because we decided to go Select with it, and one of the places we pulled it off was Kobo. And I remember getting an email from a Kobo reader who was like, hey, I want season 2 of that thing. And I only got to read season 1. That sucks. When that happens, we'll just send it to them. Like, here you go for free. Sorry about that. But that said, you know, that's an indication that like we failed somebody there. Like we had fan base it's the opposite lesson here. When you go narrow after going wide, you know, there are fans you're going to lose. And conversely, if you don't build that fan base, and something happens and Amazon decides, we will do this and there's nothing you can do about it, then you're fucked.
Yeah, Chuck Manley says, Sean looks really, really tired or slightly stoned.
Yeah, you looked really drunk when you came on, especially when you started saying there's bugs on me and rubbing your face.
Okay, there were ants in my headphones.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and he was doing like this. It looked like something out of an asylum.
All right, so just to be clear, I would love to be stoned. I'm not, and nor am I drunk, but I am really tired.
All right, last question. So Corey says, what does KDP Select do beyond give you higher royalties in some countries? It's an algorithmic thing. So Amazon has rigged, yes, that's the right word, rigged the system such that people who are in Select are getting a huge advantage in terms of a rating boost. So if you get, first of all, you get paid for borrows. Somebody borrows your book, you get paid, and that's variable. And every once in a while, people say the sky is falling and the royalties dropped, and now things are terrible. But that said, you do get paid for those, and they count as buys in terms of placement. So if all people are doing is buying your book, borrowing your book, and not actually paying for it, you get those as if they were buys, and you'll rise higher in the ranks. If you go look at the top 20 of most subgenres, they're mostly Select books. I'm sorry, Kindle Unlimited books. It'll say Kindle Unlimited across the top. Take a look, it'll really depress you, because it seems like you have to be in KU to make these top spots most of the time, and it's because they've rigged it.
And there's also the also bought. So a book that's doing well in your genre, if you're in KU, then you're more likely to be in that people that bought this also bought this. But if you're not, because you haven't sold books or people haven't borrowed your books. So,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for the Ask Us Anything. Thanks. Hold on, is there one more here? Is there any way I can get more emails for the apprentice? Okay, inside joke. So thanks for joining us for, yes, all the emails. So thanks so much for joining us for the Ask Us Anything. We'll see you. Well, I don't know if we'll see you next month because at some point we're going to air.
No, I think we're going to do that live summit episode or episode.
Which is actually the opposite of live. So it would be
well, it was
a
live
event, but it won't be live.
Right, it was live.
Yeah. And we need to give you guys a chance to build up some questions too, because like Sean said, maybe we've answered all the questions. So, but we'll let you know about that. Just stay tuned, and thanks again.
Yeah, always. Thanks.
Live tomorrow, SPP.
Live SPP, 3 Eastern,
Yep.
and on Zoom. So, do we have that? It's look at me. It's sterlingandstone.net/SPP live is the link, and that'll be that. It'll be that link every week.
The link that you got to go here tonight, right? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
A regular time tomorrow, and we'll also
regular time, and just one of them. We aren't recording 2 again, so that would be 3 Eastern for SPP with worst show ever immediately to follow.
All right. Good night.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.